Hello everyone, Mr. Nacho here, and today I wanted to share with you a melee build, which I don't usually do. I've only done 2 melee builds for like 30 something videos that I've made. But right now, since 2 updates ago, and since we have loadouts available, I think that this is just a great way to play with some bosses and some areas where there are not too many flying enemies or no flying enemies at all. This is a very easy way to play, it's very satisfying, you can just run around and bonk things, one-shot them and just run to the next poor guy. So this is basically how it works. You want to have the main archetype medic and the healing shield ability, simply because we will be using our relic a lot and we want to just have the charges keep getting back to us. The secondary archetype would be Challenger, simply because it gives us great amounts of damage. It gives us the intimidating presence, so after we activate a Challenger skill, enemies within 15 meters they deal 10% less damage. The power lifter is very nice since the stamina regen delay is reduced by 50%, and the face of danger, whenever we use a relic we get a 2 stacks of bulwark and increase our damage by 10% for 10 seconds. The stacks of bulwark are not really necessary and they will actually be wasted here, but let me just go through it one by one. The ability for the second archetype would be the Juggernaut, simply because this is the single strongest melee ability in the game. It gives you 3 stacks of bulwark, which again, sorry, but they will be wasted since we will be at 5 stacks of bulwark permanently. They will also give us 15% movement, melee speed and reduced stamina cost, which is huge. But on top of that, they will increase our melee damage by 50% and reduce the stagger level by 1. It lasts 25 seconds, so this is quite a long time, and it will just boost our damage by half. It's insane how huge of a crit. Yeah, you are still bleeding, that's true. It's insane how big crits you can get whenever you use this ability and you hit a weak spot and then get a crit on top of it. It will just be like 7,000 or something like this. When it comes to the armor, we are rocking the full Leto Mark II set. So it's the helmet, the armor, the leggings, and the gloves. When it comes to the relic, we are using the Crystal Heart, simply because it gives us the most healing, and it makes us incredibly tanky. So what it does is on use regenerates 115% of max health over 10 seconds, but our movement speed is reduced by 50%, but all incoming damage is reduced by 25%. It lasts for 10 seconds, and during those 10 seconds we are basically invincible. We don't really need any damage perks, but if you want them, then I would recommend melee attack speed, melee crit chance, and melee crit damage. But we have enough damage that we can just go full tank. So what I did is I went with the damage reduction, healing effectiveness, and health, simply because we get enough damage because of this one ring. Atonement Fold makes us self-bleed, which is kind of annoying, but that's okay. It gives us 10% crit chance. On top of that, it gives us 5 permanent stacks of bulwark thanks to the hardcore metal band. But on top of that, it increases our melee damage by 50% thanks to the ability called the Awakening on our Wrathbringer, which makes it so that incoming damage grants Awakening, which increases melee damage by 5% per stack, and it can have a maximum of 10 stacks. So we will be constantly at the maximum stacks. Our damage is increased by 50% flat. So that's huge. That's more than any ring, that's more than any amulet or relic fragment can give you. We don't need more damage at all. We just need more survivability. But if you see our survivability at the moment, we are at 75% total DR. Well, 74.2, but you get what I mean. This is huge. We take basically very little damage. We heal all of it back. We are Medic Prime, so we will get our relics back all the time. And on top of that, we have Challenger, so we already have great damage. And on top of that, we have the Juggernaut skill, which will just go through the roof when it comes to just crits in the weak spots. It's insane. When it comes to the long gun, I decided... Yeah, you are still bleeding, that's true. So this is the annoying part. You will just keep hearing it. That's the way it is. When it comes to the long gun, I'm using the Sparkfire shotgun with Fetid Wounds and Familiar mod. And this is simply because Fetid Wounds can apply Corroded whenever the weapon crits, so this is nice. 10% free damage, no one can complain. The Familiar mod is however very nice, because you don't have to pull out your weapon to actually do any sort of animation or casting. it will just appear. So you can just keep swinging your melee weapon and press the mod button for this weapon, and it will just summon the familiar. This is extremely nice. And when it comes to our secondary weapon, I chose the double barrel with the sleeper on it, since we won't really be using it too much, and whenever you want to pull this one out, we will get increased damage. And the mod on it is the soul binder, which I see almost no one use, but this is incredibly nice for AoE situations whenever you have a melee weapon, so I highly recommend checking it out. When it comes to the rest of our jewelry, we are using the Butcher's Fetish as an amulet, which increases critical chance by 15% and critical damage by 25% for 15 seconds after striking an enemy with a charged melee attack. And this is something that we want to be doing all the time, and for this we have the Drakestone Pearl, which enables stamina regeneration during melee attacks at 20% of the normal rate. So basically what it will do is we will be able to use the charge melee attacks infinitely. It will never end, and the very tiny amount of stamina that we will get back whenever we attack, so during the attack, the 20% of the normal rate of the stamina that we will get back will be enough for us to charge another melee attack, and we will just keep chaining it, and we will just have infinite charge melee attack. And to top it all off, to get even more damage, we have the probability cord to increase our crit damage by 30%. We will be critting quite a lot since we have the Butcher's Fetish and Atonement Fold. We'll just get some crits. When it comes to the traits, we are using Triage and Strong Back because they come with the archetypes, but we would use them anyway. Then we have Swiftness, so we can run faster to the enemy to bonk them. So this basically just increases our DPS because we can attack the enemy faster and then go to the other enemy and attack them faster. And also it helps us to dodge the incoming damage. Then we have the Regrowth perk with Triage combined, so it will just give us back HP passively, which is very nice. Fortify increases our armor effectiveness by 50%. Then we have Vigor maxed out to have more max HP, Expertise to have less skill cooldowns. Then we have Barkskin to have even more DR, Siphoner to get some HP back whenever we attack, and we will be doing massive damage, so we will get a lot of HP back. And on top of that, Glutton, because using the relics in this build is actually key, so we will just use them faster. And the last one is Bloodstream at 9 points, which just increases our great health regeneration by 2.7, and it also is boosted by Triage, I believe, so we'll be getting our health back incredibly quickly. So for a little showcase, I will just show you how the build performs. Okay, so whenever you are just attacking and I want to summon the familiar, I can just attack, summon the familiar with no animation, and it will just help me. This is extremely nice because this just works with the full melee build, and you will just get this little guy passively whenever you attack. Anyway, so you might as well use the mod without taking off your weapon. And we can have the other one to just use the mod to help us deal with the odds. So as you can see, we are doing 3000 damage whenever we crit, and the other guys are taking like 2400 damage, 1100 damage, again 2400 damage. That's a lot of damage, and it's actually quite a big area, so the guys that are around will just die most certainly. Whenever we just pop our ability, we do huge crits. As you can see, 8400, 4000, it's a weak spot damage as well, so let's just do some regular crits. 3700 is insane damage for one charge attack, and we'll just get infinite charge attacks. When it comes to the concoction that I'm running is the Madtooth's Tonic, so it increases our health by 25. This is extremely important because we are not really the highest at the health department. If you want to have more HP, then just don't go with the probability cord and take some ring like the Ring of the Robust or the Seal of the Empress. They would be the two most optimal ones for this build. But in general, you can see that this build is capable of doing quite a lot of damage. Also, whenever we are charging our attack, we will activate Steadfast. So what it does is charged melee attacks cannot be interrupted and gain 20% damage reduction from all sources. So we will be unstoppable, literally, and we will take 20% less damage whenever we are hit. So we will be able to just go face to face with a boss and we will just be able to wail on them. They will just keep attacking us, but we will get healing through the crystal heart, and we will just beat them to death with this, well, whatever this is. It's like a upside down hoof, or like cut in the middle like a cauliflower or something. It's supposed to be the head of the One True King. The design is well, questionable, but what is certain is that this weapon slaps, and it slaps hard. You can just go around, bonk people, and they will basically just be one shot whenever they are basic enemies, or you will just wail on them with the power attacks, so you are unstoppable until they just give up. So this is all for the introduction. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you will like the clips that I'm about to present to you. And once again, thank you so much for all of the support, for all of the subscriptions, likes, and shares. We are almost at 1,000 subscribers, and I really appreciate it. Thank you again. I love you all, and have a great day.